Hey everyone, welcome to the final lesson in our sound training series. This lesson is all about continuing to grow. In this lesson, we're really going to talk about how it's important to not get stagnant and to keep maturing in our skills and our abilities as sound engineers, and how it's important to not only to not be stagnant, but it's important to help other people grow and to have a mentor to help us continue to grow. The first point in our lesson today is all about having a mentor. We covered this in the first lesson in our series, and it's so important we want to bring it up a second time because we believe this is just one of the ways that you're going to be able to grow in your skills and your abilities as a sound engineer. Some people may have 30 years of technical experience, and that's valuable time that you can't just learn. You can't just sit down and get that experience by reading a book. So having a mentor, they're going to pass that information. That mentor is really going to be able to pass that information and help you to grow in your skills and in your abilities. At the end of the day, your mentor may not be somebody who has 30 years of experience, but all they really need is to be one step ahead of you. And they may have just learned something, and sometimes that's the best way for them to cement what they've learned is by teaching somebody else. So find somebody who is at least one step ahead of you in their experience, and learn from them and grow from what they have to offer and to teach you. The next point I'd like to cover is all about utilizing resources that are available to you. One of the ways that I have continued to learn and grow as a sound engineer is by utilizing YouTube. YouTube is a great resource. There's a ton of videos out there that can help you to grow, that can help you learn how to EQ better, that can help you learn how to mix better, that can help you learn all about compression and understanding limiting and understanding the board better. So to make this point short, utilize YouTube as a resource to you. It's a fantastic way that you can grow and to really focus in on different parts of running sound. The next point in our lesson is all about listening to music. We really talked about in lesson number two, how it's important for you to hear and listen to the songs that your band's going to play so that you can know the parts and you can better mix the parts and the pieces of the song together. I really want to cover here, though, is about intentionally listening to music. There's a really big difference between listening casually and what I consider listening intentionally. Listening casually is when you are just turning on some music and you're hanging out and you're listening, and it's just to enjoy it and to have fun listening to music. Intentionally listening is when you pay attention to the pieces and parts of what's going on in the music. And there are a whole list of things that when you're listening intentionally to music that you can ask yourself. There's questions that we can ask ourselves as sound engineers to understand what is going on better in the mix. Some of those questions are, what instruments can I hear? Where is each instrument sitting in the mix spatially? What is the most prominent or loudest thing that I can hear? Do the dynamics stay at the same level the whole song? Are there solos or instrumentals? Is it a live recording or a studio? How does this recording compare to others I have listened to? What are the similarities and what are the differences? So these are just a few of the things that will get you started in this process. It's also really important that as you're listening to music, as you're listening to worship music or other music intentionally for the mix to better understand that you have a good pair of speakers or a good pair of headphones. It's amazing when you put a good pair of headphones on, the different nuances that you can hear in the music that you couldn't hear before. Headphones are great too because they are stereo and they're on your ears. You'll be able to hear how they mix things spatially better than just through normal speakers. You may hear the electric guitar on the left side and the acoustic guitar on the right side, and hear the nuances of how that's mixed together. And so those are just some of the things that you can do as you're listening to music to help you grow as a sound engineer. The next point in our lesson is really about pushing ourselves, and this is something that each of us are going to have to do on our own, and we're going to have to figure out where we are, both spiritually and technically. And if we need to grow in the spiritual aspects of having a better heart for ministry, a better heart of a sound engineer, we need to find and seek out the people that can help us to grow in that area. And we'll have to push ourselves. No one's going to come along and make you do that. This is really all about you being intentional about your own growth. The final point in our lesson today is mentoring someone else. This is really all about continuing to push ourselves further, to continue to grow in our skills by teaching somebody else. One of the best ways for us as we have maybe had a lot of experience now and we've really honed in on our skills and our abilities and we feel like we're really contributing to the mission of our church and our campus. But one of the best ways for us to continue to grow is to find somebody else who we can take under our wing and to teach them. And that's going to not only help our ministry as a whole, but that's going to help you as a sound engineer to cement those things that you know even better. And it's going to bring you back to the basics, and it's going to help push you to learn the basics even better, and then to continue to grow from there. And that's really important for all of us as we're growing our ministry and as we're bringing up the younger generations, as we're bringing up those people who are new to sound. That's going to really just be a vital part of continuing to move and grow the entire ministry. Hey, so that's it for our sound training series. We want to thank you so much for joining us and for growing your skills and your abilities with us. We really just hope that you can take these lessons back to your sound team and that you can grow more as a sound engineer individually and that you can help others to grow as well.